Play Pleasant good Friday afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Rouse Raider Baseball on the SHNSports.com broadcast network. I'm Rob Hipp alongside Michael Francis, and we are set for another good one here tonight as the Rouse Raiders travel on the road to Sausage Country here in Elgin, Texas. We'll go over Rouse really quick. They're 13-7-0 overall in the season. They fell to 9-4, now sitting in that fourth spot at 19-5A. We'll talk about that in just a little bit after the loss previously back on Tuesday night. Edward Stringer, the head coach. Elgin in purple and white. For the Rouse Raiders, the visiting team tonight, 21-9-1 overall, 10-3 in District 19-5A. The Rouse Raiders currently sitting in third place behind Cedar Park, of course, coached by Chad Crimpine, wearing tonight, I believe, the black, white, and black tops, white pants, and maroon numbers with a little gold around it. Michael, we are set for a good one here, and there's still a lot of juggling to take place in District 19-5A in these final games.
Cedar Park came through a squeaker in Hutto, narrowly winning that 4-3 in extra innings. So the district is still, battling for that second spot between Rouse and Cedar Park. If Rouse can take care of their business all the way through, and Cedar Park does the same, I'm not sure how they manage the tiebreaker. Could be set up on run differentials. In that case, Cedar Park would have the run differential between Rouse head-to-head.
Yeah, and I was talking to a Rouse player after the game the other night, and he clarified that for me because we went into the broadcast. I was thinking that all three teams were tied, and that wasn't really the case because of that differential that you were talking about just a few moments ago. Well, before we do jump into the broadcast here, of course, live from Elgin, Texas, we always like to take a moment just to pause and reflect on the news of the past week, and unfortunately some tragic news. Of course, Barbara Bush passing away, the former First Lady. She was a huge advocate for literacy here in the United States for so many years, so our thoughts and prayers are with the former president, both George and his son. And so we did want to mention that. And also Southwest Airlines, just a tragic event there, their first ever fatality that they've had in the existence of their unblemished safety record. And so our thoughts and prayers are with the family of Jennifer Riordan. They were flying from New York. She was a Wells Fargo executive. So
tragic,
we hate to hear about all that. But anyways, didn't want to start off on a negative moment, but we do like to just remember those folks that made a positive and a huge impact. Well, here at Elgin High School here at Elgin Baseball Field. Michael, it's 64 degrees. Things are going to cool off quite considerably once the sun goes down. The humidity 52%. The winds tonight out of the southeast at 13 miles per hour. Rain is in the forecast late tonight. Shouldn't be a problem here. But tomorrow, that's when that 60% chance of severe thunderstorms have already caused a lot of schools to change their forecast for tomorrow.
Right, and as of yet, I've not heard if there is going to be a cancellation or a postponement of the Rouse Bastrop game. That game will be in Bastrop tomorrow. When I spoke with Coach Crimpine, he said it could possibly be moved to Monday. So it'd be a Monday-Tuesday series between Rouse and Bastrop.
Well, Georgetown's already made that. They were supposed to play tomorrow. They've already postponed their game until Monday. And, hey, I know this is 5A, but I quickly wanted to mention the Lake Travis Cavaliers, number one in their district in 25-6A, the top team in the state of Texas, arguably one of the top teams in the nation. They fell to the Westlake Chaparrals for their first loss of the season. That was a tough one.
Vista Ridge,
that's who it was.
Yes, they lost to Vista Ridge 4-3, and it was on a controversial call. Batters at the plate, and runners at first. He takes off for second. The batter has an 0-2 count on him, and he was called for batter interference. And when the batter has two strikes on him, the runner and the batter are both out.
Man, so a tough one there.
So they were one out, and it was a double play, and so a controversial loss for the Cavaliers against the Rangers of Vista Ridge.
Well, as we look here at 19-5A, Michael, briefly, of course, Georgetown clinching that top spot at 14-0. Cedar Park sitting at second at 10-3. Rouse here tonight, 10-3. Elgin in that fourth position at 9-4. Hutto at 7-6, so they're all but out now. Unless something happens, we'll see what happens. We've still got a few games left here in the district play, and then behind them, Cedar Creek, Connolly, Bastrop, and Eastview. Those four teams are eliminated. No chance for them to get into the playoffs. As we look at the run differential here for Georgetown, 113-28. Cedar Park, 74-26. They have had a great defensive season, but on the offensive end, Cedar Park not in double or triple digits like Georgetown, Rouse, and Elgin. Rouse at 100-32, and then Elgin 116-64. You had mentioned before we got on the air here about some stats coming out in the Austin American-Statesman. Talk to us about Hayden Thomas here for the Rouse Raiders.
Hayden Thomas, I mean, Rouse is well represented in the area for statistical leaders. Hayden Thomas leads the whole entire Central Texas area with 80 strikeouts. The closest one to him is 74 strikeouts. So he's well in the lead as a strikeout leader in the district, and that includes all classifications. So you've got 1A private school all the way through 6A.
And that's an unbelievable stat there for that young man.
Cody Vanoy and Dalton Porter both lead on batting average. Robbie Ramos is on that list also. So they're in the top 25 of the district in batting average. Nick Hempel with runs driven in. Dalton Porter, I believe, may be second in the standings in runs batted in.
So the implications here tonight for all teams still on the table. Michael, I'll send it over to you. Rouse, of course, will be at bat first tonight. I'll let you go over that Rouse Raiders starting lineup.
So leading off for the Raiders tonight, we have number 2, Nick Hempel at second base. Number 5, Dalton Porter will be in right field. Number 15, Jared Southard will be at first. Number 1, Cody Vanoy will be batting fourth. He'll be behind the plate tonight. And the starting pitcher, number 10, Hayden Thomas, will be batting fifth. Batting sixth will be number 6, the designated hitter, John Dominguez. He will be hitting for the center fielder, number 22, Jamison Slater. Number 11, Robbie Ramos-Caro will be at short and batting 7th. Number 14, Cody Kelch, batting 8th and in left field. And the third baseman, number 9, Caleb Diaz, will be rounding out the order.
Well, for the hometown Elgin Wildcats, leading off tonight will be the shortstop, number 1, Jace Grady. The center fielder, number 7, Jonathan Gonzalez. Batting third, the second baseman, number 24, Isaac Davila. In the cleanup position tonight, the first baseman, number 32, Dante Woodard. In the fifth order, the third baseman, number 15, Andrew Gonzalez. Batting sixth, the catcher, number 8, Jacob Navajas. The pitcher tonight for the Elgin Wildcats. Batting seventh, number 6, Jacob Harkins. So the two Jacobs back-to-back beside each other in 6 and 7. Batting 8, the designated hitter, number 3, Hunter Johnston. And in that final 9th position, the right fielder, number 17, Trevor Magnuson. You had mentioned something else, Michael, tonight for the Rouse Raiders out there. I believe you were talking about in the 8th position, Jamison Slater, who is a designated.
He's a center fielder.
He's a center fielder.
Designated hitted for.
But he is
John
one
Dominguez.
that can knock him out as well. So.
He can. And, Jamison's got a good bat. I think that John Dominguez brings more power in his bat, and so coach has opted to have Jamo DH'd for. So looking to keep the power in the lineup with John Dominguez in there.
Well, as we continue the broadcast here, again, thanks for joining us. Time now 7 p.m. as they are still getting the field conditions just right here. The water hose out on the field. A beautiful afternoon for baseball here in Central Texas. Again, it should drop below 60 after the sun goes down. The sun's still all over the field here, and the American flag right in front of us. Someone told me that's about 365. I don't want to discredit them out there at center field, but that looks more like 385 or so. Again, I don't have lasers in my eyes, but I would suspect that it's got to be, somewhere between that. The corners here at Rouse High School, we were told between 320 and 330, so those power alleys somewhere in between that as well, Michael.
Right, yeah, the power alleys on here, as you can see, it doesn't go deep down the line, so it's probably around 345 to left and right center power alleys if the dead straightaway center is 365.
Well, I love being here to Elgin. The hospitality of the athletic director, Mr. Coach Anderson, we appreciate them as always. The only thing here is they sure do like to play the music.
They do. It's loud. We were jesting before the game about bringing some earplugs and selling some earplugs. Hey, make a little side money.
They're jamming out here. I was joking around with the concession stand. I went up there to get a cold drink here, and I said, y'all still start selling earplugs. She just laughed, said, yeah, we've been told that before. But we had the decibel meter. It was almost at 90 at one point. So, but we're having fun here tonight. And And again, we just had mentioned that as a joke, but to be honest, always appreciate the sincere hospitality of the fine folks here in Elgin, Texas. I was trying to get here a little bit early to go over there to Southside or Myers, and I didn't make it to either one. Instead, I went to Wendy's, so shame on me.
Well, buddy, I didn't let you down. I showed up. I suspected after our conversation the other night that you might show up at Southside, so I showed up over there hoping to sit down and share a meal with you, but I had to enjoy it myself.
Well, we're going to step aside and take a quick break. Don't go anywhere, folks. Rouse Raider Baseball and the SHNSports.com broadcast network will continue in a few moments. This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by the Hipp Network. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, use of sound bites and interviews, and use of any other content, including audio or video, without the direct written consent and permission by the Hipp Network is strictly prohibited and protected by federal and copyright laws. All rights are reserved by the Hipp Network and SHNSports.com. Hipp alongside Michael Francis. Thank you for spending your Friday evening with us. It is senior night here at Elgin, Texas, and we may turn it over to the public address announcer and give these Elgin kids some credit here for senior night. So we'll turn it over to the public address announcer now, Michael.
After high school, Hunter plans on taking some courses at ACC and then joining the Fire Academy. Number 7, Jonathan Gonzalez, accompanied by his parents Jamie and Sarah Gonzalez, as well as his sister Aubrey and Avery.
After high school, Jonathan will attend Cisco College to play baseball and get his associate's degree. He then plans on transferring to a 4-year university. Number 8, Jacob Nevejas, accompanied by his parents Gustavo and Stephanie Nevejas and his brother Dex. After high school, Jacob will attend McLennan Community College to play baseball and study criminal justice. Number 10, Xavier Briones, accompanied by his parents Gilbert and Veronica Briones. After high school, Xavier will attend Sam Houston State University to major in criminal justice. Number 11, Jack Nizenblatt, accompanied by his parents Oscar Nizenblatt and Elizabeth Owen. After high school, Jack plans on attending either Johns Hopkins, Brown, Rice, or UCLA. He's interested in studying biochemistry and then further pursue his education to become a doctor. He hopes to one day be able to travel the world and use medicine to help as many people as he can, but eventually come back to Elgin to be a teacher. Number 19, Jared Johnston, accompanied by his parents Weldon and Sue Johnston, as well as his sister Jenna. After high school, Jared plans on attending Texas State University, where he plans on studying elementary education to become an elementary PE teacher. Number 22, Jared Anderson, accompanied by his mother, Teresa Anderson. After high school, Jared will enlist in the United States Army as a medical laboratory specialist. Number 23, Ethan Owens, accompanied by his parents, Brandon Owens and Jackie Moore. After high school, Ethan will attend Trinity Valley Community College to play football. Number 30, Eliel Salazar, accompanied by his mother, Teresa Palacios. After high school, Eliel will attend McMurray University to play football and study kinesiology. Number 32, Dante Woodard, accompanied by his grandmother, Margaret Alexander. After high school, Dante will attend Texas State University to play baseball and major in construction science and management. Stephen Freeman, accompanied by his parents, Lance and Felicia Freeman. After high school, Stephen will attend Texas Tech University to pursue a degree in natural resource management and aspires to achieve his doctorate. Jonah De La Garza, accompanied by Coach Adams. After high school, Jonah will attend Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University and major in aerospace engineering. Ladies and gentlemen, your Elgin Wildcat senior baseball team.
back to the broadcast here. Michael wanted to make sure that we give the Elgin kiddos out there on the field their due deservance of seniors this year. I know that we broadcast for Rouse, but anytime there's a senior night or a special event, we like to make sure to include, because we have a lot of listeners from the community list again. So,
absolutely. You know, to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, well.
And I think one of the cool things, he was talking about one of those young men going to Embry-Riddle. We had a Georgetown Eagle basketball player that went to Embry-Riddle. I actually got to see him on ESPN one night as they were playing. It was one of the first games they'd ever had broadcast in high school. And he ended up having in college, and he ended up having a very huge shot right at the end of the first half, and that made one of the ESPN top plays. So that was exciting, and out of Embry-Riddle, pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, cool stuff. And every one of these kids, you know, their plans after high school are very impressive. I was very impressed with what I was hearing, a broad spectrum of ideals that they want to pursue, and one of them was wanting to go overseas, and he's going to perform medical work and medical services for free, and then he wants to come back to Elgin and teach.
It's pretty awesome.
So, you know, that's some impressive ideals that, you know, want to give back to the community and be a part of changing the world. You know, that one slogan that I've always been impressed with the University of Texas is what starts here changes the world.
Yeah, that's great. I thought you were about to say the Vegas slogan. You know, I'm just kidding.
What happens
here stays here. That would not be a good. That would not be a good motto for a university.
That would definitely wouldn't be a good motto for a university.
Well, the head coach for the Elgin Wildcats on the mound now, alongside the head coach for your Rouse Raiders, of course, Edward Stringer, the coach for the Elgin Wildcats, and Chad Krimpine here for Rouse, talking things over right now with the umpires out at home plate. And, normally a 7 p.m. first pitch, but due to senior night and a few other things here, we're at 7:09 right now, so we'll have a little bit of a late start. And, hopefully it goes quick, because I'll tell you, I forgot to bring my jacket tonight, and it's going to get chilly once that sun goes down.
Well, brother, we're both in the same boat. Both in the same boat on that one.
Well, if you look at the ideal conditions for baseball, last time I was here earlier in the season was a Georgetown broadcast. Georgetown, of course, still in their bye week. They were supposed to play tomorrow, but that's been pushed back to Monday now versus Connolly at Connolly. But last time I was here, it was the windiest game that we have had thus far. We had wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour that night. And we thought Georgetown was going to be knocking quite a few of them out of the park, but it actually worked against them.
Right.
And tonight, though, the wind is gusting, but nothing like what it was that other day when we were here just a few weeks ago.
Well, it's reminiscent to me, and I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity of playing over at Manor. Their baseball field is kind of out on the open plain and subject to the wind. Now, their football stadium is just adjacent to the baseball field. But still, there's pasture land that's on all sides of the baseball diamond.
Well, Michael, I did want to mention here as we continue on the broadcast here, of course, we talk about 19-5A, but other districts of important note, because we play other districts, of course, in by-district. One of those in by-district that we play is over in 25A. Those are some by-district games that sometimes we pick up. These standings as of April the 16th, Magnolia clinched that division at 10-1. They're 20-5 overall. Tomball clinching their top spot at 8-3, or clinched a playoff spot at 8-3, 15-7-1. Brenham at 7-4, Tomball Memorial 7-4, and then Willis, Waller, Magnolia West, and Huntsville all eliminated. Huntsville, a tough season for the kids down there in Huntsville. 1-10 in district, but 1-23 overall, and that's a tough season, and we hope that Huntsville will be able to rebound. There's nothing, that deflates a young athlete more than that, and luckily getting that one win, but just a tough season for the Hornets down in Huntsville.
Yeah, our by-district is a tough district. You got Brenham that is just always, they're a perennial top team. And we faced them in the area, if I remember, or was it regional last year? Anyway, it was a third round, and we had been taking 2 out of 3, but we didn't win a game against those guys. They were deep, all the way through. Tough team.
Well, there's something to be said about good ice cream, and it translates onto the baseball field down there in ice cream country.
Well, I'll tell you, what's impressive about it is their baseball field is a 1920s minor league field.
Wow.
So it still has the clamshell around it and all original, and the city manages it, so the school district doesn't even have to take any care of it. It's owned and operated by the city, but the high school plays there. And, of course, it's a very tight-knit community, and I'll bet you there were probably 6,000 people there to watch a high school baseball game.
Well, as far as games go tonight, other games important on the schedule tonight. And, again, there's a lot of jostling that can still be had here in this district as we look at some of those games coming up. Again, tonight, looking at the Friday games here. Tonight, Eastview at Bastrop, Cedar Park at Hutto. That is a huge series there for Cedar Park and Hutto both. And then, of course, here, Rouse at Elgin, and then Cedar Creek at Connolly. Georgetown still on the bye. Saturday, those games more than likely going to be rescheduled, but as they sit, the only one that's been rescheduled is Georgetown at Connolly. That postponed until 7 o'clock on Monday. Rouse at Bastrop at 1 p.m., Cedar Park at Elgin at 1 o'clock, and then Cedar Creek at Hutto at 1 p.m. Eastview starts their bye, and we'll see what happens. And then to finish up things in the district on Tuesday, April the 24th, it'll be Connolly at Georgetown, Bastrop at Rouse, Elgin at Cedar Creek, and then Hutto at Cedar Creek. Eastview on their bye as well. So still a lot of, I've said it multiple times, still a lot of shifting can take place here at 19-5A for the 2, 3, and 4 spot, and we'll see how things work out.
Wildcats are coached by varsity assistant Adam Adams.
I was just glancing over some of these other standings here in Region 3, 5A. Corsicana, 7-0, 16-5-1. They have also been a powerhouse as well.
Right.
So we'll send it over now for our country's national anthem. Rouse Raider baseball continues in a few moments. Well, a beautiful playing of our country's national anthem. First pitch moments away. Time now at 7:15 p.m. here at Elgin High School, and I'll call the first 3 innings tonight, and then I'll hand it over to you, and I'll be I guess the designated. You'll be the designated hitter. How does that work? You know, we'll see how it goes, man. But hey, I wanted to say, man, again, Michael, just appreciate all the work that you've done this year. Really, without you, again, not here to butter your biscuit, but I'm going to do it because. How many know a biscuit isn't good unless you've got some good butter on it? And I'm going to tell you, man, really the success that we've had so far this year with the SHN broadcast, Michael, heavily weighed on your behalf. So we appreciate all the fine work that you've done, and especially on those home games doing double duty. That's pretty impressive. So, again, thank you for helping this season be a success here on SHN, Michael.
Well, thank you, Rob. I sure appreciate it. Glad to be a part of SHN Sports. It's been a great experience, Rob, and the professionalism that your company has treated Rouse Raider baseball with and myself has been wonderful, and I'm grateful for the opportunity and the experience.
Absolutely. Well, on the mound tonight for the Elgin Wildcats, of course, number 6, Jacob Harkins. Behind that home plate will be Jacob Navejas. At first base, Dante Woodard. Second base, Isaac Davila. At third base, Andrew Gonzalez, the shortstop, Jace Grady. From left to right, Ethan Owens, Jonathan Gonzalez, and Trevor Magnuson. Leading off for the Rouse Raiders, the second baseman, number 2, Nick Hempel. On deck, about to step into that batter's box here in just a few moments. We are set for a beautiful night of baseball here in Elgin, Texas, Michael.
Well, as Mark Holtz always said before the Rangers broadcast, it's baseball time in Texas.
Love it.
And that always just stuck with me. And if you ever got the opportunity to hear Mark Holtz, he's one of the greatest voices to ever broadcast a baseball game. And the broadcast team of Eric Nadell and Mark Holtz for WBAP Radio 820 there in Dallas for years and years.
Of course, Harkins, a right-handed pitcher. The first one on the way, going to be called a strike as it goes across the plate, and Hempel at an 0-1.
You always like, as a pitcher, you always like to get that first pitch strike.
Hempel with that right foot down in the lower right corner of the box. This one also on the fastball across, going to be called a strike. The early count, 0 balls, 2 strikes here for Nick Hempel. Next pitch on the way. This one hit foul to the back of the net. The count remains 0-2. Almost forgot here. We got to keep the scoreboard updated. We have our new scoreboard again that we're running tonight, so
right.
keep the fans out there in the know of what's going on. The 0-2 right-handed delivery. This one going to ground over, and that'll be a base hit out to left field. A nice one right up the middle there, off the left side rather, for a base hit, and that's a good start for the Rouse Raiders.
A real good start. It pulled Jace Grady to the outfield grass there in left field, and it was too deep for him to even attempt to make a throw, and he just sat on it and put it back in to avoid any type of error, just trying to hurry things up.
Dalton Porter now into the box, second in the order, the right fielder. He's a left-handed hitter for the Rouse Raiders. Taking a little bit of time, and now he steps in. Holds that bat at about a 90-degree angle before he gets a swing here. Now in motion, and this one too high into the outside. 1 ball, no strikes, the first ball that we've seen thrown tonight by Jacob Harkins.
Wind blowing from right to left, as you can see the flag blowing out in the center field.
Delivery, this one again far outside. 2 balls, no strikes.
It looks like he's trying to paint that outside corner. Well, you just left it too high.
Wind dying down here a bit. It's been gusting off and on. Next pitch here off the right hand, and once again, the same it goes, too far outside. 3 balls, no strikes.
You know, it's interesting to see pitchers sometimes when you get a left-handed batter up there, the way they struggle just to keep from putting anything on the inside part of the plate and have a kid like Dalton Porter crush it.
Delivery here. Once again, all 4 pitches emulated themselves, all to the outside and high upstairs, and that's going to be a base on balls for Dalton Porter.
Definitely not the way you want to get things started here if you're an Elgin Wildcat fan, as the first 2 batters now stand at first and second.
It's Porter there at first, and Nick Hempel moves over to second. Third in the order, the first baseman, a right-handed hitter, number 15, Jared Southard. Now at bat for the Rouse Raiders. Southard stands straddled in that corner, the right foot down on the corner. The pitch on the way. This one is going to be hit.
That one's hit sharp. That's probably over the fence.
And it is going, and that one will sail over for a 3-run homer. What a start by Jared Southard and the Rouse Raiders.
Wow.
For the first delivery to Southard, and he knocks it right out of the park here, and Rouse is going to take a 3-0 early lead. That's a great start for the Raiders tonight, Michael.
Southard's first home run of the season comes here in Elgin, and the Raiders with a 3-run lead, as you mentioned, for Cody Vanoy, another power hitter, a statistical leader in the Central Texas area.
And we're already talking RBIs tonight. I'm already getting hungry. Start talking Arby's. Pitch here on the way by the cleanup Cody Vanoy, and
in for a strike.
0-1 the early count here for Vanoy. Calling time now. Going to step out just for a second.
I just realized I'm not keeping my scorebook. I better get after it.
It's because you don't have the PA duties tonight, so you're just,
I guess.
Hey, it's a relaxing night. Again, Rouse leads here, no outs, 3-0. Top of the first, just underway. Right-handed delivery. This one across the plate as well, looking 0-2. We're pretty excited at SHN. Opportunity on Sunday to call our first NCAA game. That'll be in the Division III of Southwestern Pirates as they are playing Texas Lutheran in Georgetown. And then the following week after that, Michael, we will be producing the SCAC Softball Championships. They're going to play about 10 or 11 games in Georgetown the last weekend of the month. That's going to be pretty exciting.
Wow.
Last pitch was a foul. Third on the way here, and this one too high into the outside, 1-2.
That looked pretty close, but from our vantage point, we're really kind of left of home plate in the right batter's box.
Right-handed delivery here, and that one's going to flutter up and right into the glove of the first baseman, Dante Woodard, for the first out. The pitcher now for the Rouse Raiders, fifth in the order, number 10, Hayden Thomas. As you talked about earlier, the leading strikeout pitcher in Central Texas, out of all divisions, correct?
Yes, out of all classifications. So he takes ball one.
1-0 the count here for Rouse. The next delivery, going to ground over to the third baseman and trying to get him on a 5-3. A routine play there. Gonzalez over to Woodard for the second out. Six in the order, the designated hitter, number 6, John Dominguez. Right-handed hitter for the Rouse Raiders, now in the box. And that chalk already getting a little damage early down there, Michael.
It is.
Right-handed pitch on the way. This one drops back in for a strike. Good pitch there by Jacob Harkins.
Curveball by Harkins to get the strike. He's hitting the spots pretty good.
Delivery here, tip foul. 0-2, 2 outs. Again, Rouse leading 3-0 here in the top of the first. Thanks for joining us. Rob Hipp with Michael Francis. Remember, friends, our SHN fan line is open. If you're an Elgin or a Rouse fan, feel free to send us a text message. Let us know how we're sounding. If you got a shout-out, that text line at 512-522-9105. Pitch here, going to ground over to the shortstop, trying to get him on a 6-3, and he got him in time. It's Jace Grady over to Dante Woodard for the third out. So after a home run brings in 3, it was a 1, 2, and 3 after that. And Rouse, though, a commanding lead here to start things early, scoring 3 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left on. As we move to the bottom of the first, that was a quick one there, and that's a good start again for the Rouse Raiders, Michael.
Yeah, great start. Anytime you can put a run on the board, that's a good start. The Raiders got the first 2 on, and then Jared Southard comes in and just cleans house.
And I was starting to wonder how many of those, if they could get a good lick on it tonight, are going to sell out there to left field because the wind is blowing in that direction. But that was just a clean hit. I think even if you would have had some wind against him, that ball would have still flew through the air out there. Well, we flip sides here as we go to the bottom of the first inning. Rouse leading again 3-0. Thanks for joining us on SHN Sports. Leading off for the Elgin Wildcats will be the shortstop, number 1, Jace Grady, the center fielder, number 7, Jonathan Gonzalez, and then third of the order, the second baseman, number 24, Isaac Davila. For the Rouse Raiders on defense, the Central Texas statistical strikeout leader of all classifications on the mound, number 10, Hayden Thomas. Behind home plate catching, number 1, Cody Vanoy. At first base, number 15, Jared Southard. Second base, number 2, Nick Hempel. Third base tonight, number 9, Caleb Diaz. The shortstop, number 11, Robbie Ramos-Caro. From left to right, 14, Cody Kelch. At center field, 22, Jamison Slater. And then at right field, number 5, Dalton Porter. Getting the warm-up pitches on the mound for the Raiders, of course, Thomas, as you can see on your video screen there. Well, again, we'd love to hear from you. That SHN fan line is open. We didn't hear from anybody last week, Michael, so hopefully tonight we'll hear from a few folks. Again, send us a text message, 512-522-9105. Again, that SHN fan line is open at 512-522-9105. We'd love to hear from you.
So Hayden Thomas, not only just the strikeout leader, he's also one of the leaders in ERA. He's also leads in wins.
Wow.
He has 8 wins on the season so far, and he has a .71 ERA.
Not bad at all, and good to have him on the mound here tonight. Again, the shortstop, number 1, Jace Grady for the Wildcats of Elgin, a left-handed hitter. The pitch on the way. This one is going to be too far inside. 1 ball, no strikes.
Wow, Thomas can't believe that. I can't really believe it either. That definitely was a fastball in, and it looked right at.
Second pitch here, a swing and a miss. That first pitch was one where Fabio would say, "I can't believe it's not butter." Whatever happened to that guy? You remember him?
Yeah, I remember. Had those long flowing locks.
1-1 here, get a tip foul. The count at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Forgot all about that guy, man.
Yeah, Fabio.
Now every time I eat butter, I'm going to think of that for the next few months. I can't believe it's not butter. Brother. 1-2 the count here, no outs. Rouse leading 3-0. Here in the bottom of the first inning, Elgin at bat. Again, it's Jace Grady and a 1-2. Kicks up the left leg. The right-handed pitch, again, tip foul off the brick in front of us. The count remains 1-2.
Hayden Thomas, a commit to Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Thomas gets set, right-handed delivery. This one tipped foul into the net. Thank goodness the net's in front of us, or that may have been a stitch mark in the front of my head. 1-2 the count remains.
Yours or mine. Thomas left that one up in the zone, and Grady just got a piece of it as he swung underneath it, got the top part of the bat and fouled back.
Right-hand pitch. This one too low. Even count now, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Always makes me wonder why they call softball soft. I mean, the thing is not soft. I've been hit by one several times, and it doesn't feel good at all. 2-2 even delivery, and this one bounces, hits him up in the legs, and it'll be a full count now at 3-2. So the payoff pitch upcoming here for number 10, Hayden Thomas. The sun setting behind some clouds. We may get one more glimmer of sunshine after that cloud passes, and that'll be it for tonight. This one tipped foul into the back of the net. The count remains full at 3-2. Boy, I tell you, when that sunshine gets hidden, it gets chilly quick.
Boy, it drops quick. And being breezy, it doesn't help any. So if you hear chattering, folks, that's our teeth. You got the chills.
Hayden didn't like the first couple of calls from his catcher, and now gets one he likes from Vanoy. The payoff pitch on the way. This one hit up over center field. That one has got some air behind it. Rouse going to try to chase it down, and that one is gone out of the park for a home run single. What a hit out past center field beyond the fence by Jace Grady. He says, Rouse, if you can do 3, I'll go ahead and do 1.
Well, that's some of the concern that Coach Krempine shared with me before the game is with Hayden and his fastball and this wind playing a part of it. So he was concerned that that might play a part, and it just did, as he gives up the home run to Jace Grady.
Pitch had a lot of velocity on it, and it came off the bat with a lot of velocity as well. Second in the order, the center fielder, number 7, Jonathan Gonzalez. The right-handed hitter, pitch on the way. This one on the corner, clip for a strike, 0-1. Second delivery off the right hand. This one too close inside as he almost grazed the elbow. He pulled back in time. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, that rain expected tonight after 1 a.m. won't be a problem here tonight, as the next pitch is going to go across for a strike, 1-2. But some areas may pick up over an inch of rain before this weather moves in and out on Saturday. Not complaining, we need a little rain, just not the severe weather that comes along with it, though.
Right.
Hard to see on the video screen, but we can see it with the naked eye here. There's someone out there at out beyond center field or over the fence looking for that ball. It's a grounder over to the shortstop here. Picking it up is Ramos Caro, and he got a beautiful pass in over 6'3" to Jared Southard for the first out.
Number 24, Isaac Davila.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you can definitely feel that chill starting to bite.
Isaac Davila now at bat for Elgin. The pitch on the way, grounds this one over. Third baseman trying to make a dive at as it goes over there, and it's not going to be in time as the shortstop trying to come up and make the play. He wouldn't have been able to get there in time anyways, and that is a base hit over to left field.
That'll
and
be an E5.
First base, number 32, Dante Woodard.
Did they call that an error? That was a hard grab for him. I don't know if I would list that one as an error. I don't think the scorer listed it as an error out there, Michael, because he had to dive for that. It would have been a hard grab for him. I think they gave him the benefit of the doubt on it.
All right, well, I'm going to go with it too. I'll give him the hit.
So Davila will reach first on that hit. Woodard at bat now in the cleanup position, the first baseman. Pitch on the way to Woodard. Pulls back. It's going to be called a ball, 1-0.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Thomas pitches Woodard after Grady getting that home run from the left side.
Thomas over to Southard, trying for the pick, keeping Davila honest there at first. Hayden looks over his left. Now the pitch on the way, too low. And the count 2-0.
Well, I think the guy found one home run ball. The one that Southard hit. I don't think he's found Grady's yet.
Grady's may have sailed over to a Bastrop. It's going to be it's going to sell down the tag at second. Well, actually, it was a 6-4. It was Caro over to Hempel. Tagged him there at second for the second out. It was hit right in the direction of the shortstop.
Heads up play by Ramos Caro to throw it back to Hempel and get the lead out. Get the lead runner.
So Woodard will be on first base. Move to the fifth in the order, the third baseman, number 15, Andrew Gonzalez. Pitch on the way to Gonzalez. Fastball right across the plate for a strike, 0-1.
So Woodard got the fielder's choice, and Davila went to the bench.
Yeah, and as you said, that was good because that was your scoring run out there at second. You've got your run at first and then your tying run at home plate right now on the 0-2 count. Pitch on the way. This one too high upstairs. The count remains 0-2. No, I'm sorry, 1-2.
Wanted to see if he would chase.
This one hit foul off the back of the bat.
Curveball, and he manages to get a piece of it.
He curved it back behind him.
Yeah.
Count at 1-2, 2 outs. Rouse leads 3-1 here in the bottom of the first. Base runner on one for Rouse is Dante Woodard, who reached on that fielder's choice moments ago. Andrew Gonzalez in a 1-2. Right-handed delivery, swing and a miss. Got him for the third out. Well, the first strikeout here by Hayden Thomas of the evening. And in that inning, though, Rouse scoring 1 run on 2 hits. There was no errors and 1 left on base. We're through 1, top of the second upcoming. We'll step aside and take a quick break. Rouse Raider Baseball on the SHNSports.com broadcast network will continue after this. This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by the Hipp Network. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, use of sound bites and interviews, and use of any other content, including audio or video, without the direct written consent and permission by the Hipp Network is strictly prohibited and protected by federal and copyright laws. All rights are reserved by the Hipp Network and SHNSports.com. Welcome back to Rouse Raider Baseball on the SHN Sports. I'm Rob Hipp alongside Michael Francis. Hope you're enjoying some of the new audio tonight. I pulled it out of Michael Francis's truck there, so the freestyle beats.
Got some sick beats going on there, Rob.
Love it, man. Well,
sick
hey,
beats.
As we go to the top of the second here, Rouse leading 3-1, and it was all due to Nick Hempel, Dalton Porter, and Southard. It was Hempel knocking that one out of the, or beg your pardon, it was Southard knocking it out of the park for a 3-run homer in that first inning. We are 7th in the order, so the bottom three, the 7, 8, 9, it'll be the shortstop, number 11, Robbie Ramos-Caro leading off, then the left fielder, number 14, Cody Kelch. And at the bottom of the order, last but not least, the third baseman, number 9, Caleb Diaz. So Harkins giving up 3, but that came off that home run, and we'll see what the Rouse offense has got in their batting power here in the top of the second.
Yeah, interesting to see both teams give up a dinger in the first inning.
First pitch on the way, going to be called a strike as it goes across the plate. 0-1 the count here on Ramos-Caro.
Harkins living by that curveball. He's dropped several in.
This one going to be a base hit out to left field. Caro gets another hit for the Rouse Raiders. That will be the third hit of the afternoon. So he'll reach on first there on the single.
Ramos-Caro also, his name's also on that list with his batting average.
That one in the Statesman?
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's one of the statistical leaders. 19-5A is well represented.
Cody Kelch, the left fielder, 8th in the order, number 14, the right-handed hitter for Rouse. Pitch on the way. Too far out of his reach. 1 ball, no strikes.
See a lot of 19-5A, and you also see
delivery here, swing and a miss, 1-1.
see 2 prominent 6A districts in Round Rock with Cedar Ridge and Lake Travis.
1-1, no outs, pitch on the way, looks for the bunt here, goes off the bat behind the net, or back off the net, 1-2 the count. Well, last night, man, I went to a Texas Stars hockey playoff game. It was a lot of fun.
That. You went with Nathan.
Yeah, I haven't been to. It's been a while. Those hockey games are pretty fun.
Oh, I love it.
The referees wouldn't let them fight though last night. I mean,
really?
I Arby's. They say they have the meats. I'm for the fights. At the hockey games. Michael, pitch here on the way. Going to be called a ball. 2-2. I mean, is that wrong of me to think? I enjoy the fights.
Oh, I mean that's what makes hockey hockey. I mean, you go all the way back to Paul Newman and Slapshot.
These referees weren't having it last night. Next pitch on the way. That's 3. I was about to say, yeah, and they called that a strikeout looking. It took a while for him to tell him to move away there. So Cody Kelch looks at that one, and that's going to be the first strikeout of the night by Jacob Harkins. We move to the bottom of the lineup, the third baseman, number 9, Caleb Diaz. So again, top of the second, 1 out, base runner on 1 for Rouse is Robbie Ramos-Caro after that hit at his at-bat. Bottom of the order we go. The pitch here, hit foul. The first one foul out of the park off the first base side behind the Rouse Raider dugout. The early count 0-1. Rouse again, their last game, picking up their 10th win here in 19-5A, holding into that second spot. Oh, 0-1 the count, 1 out for Caleb Diaz. Harkins on the mound, checks over his shoulder at first base. Now in rhythm here, this one hit foul. No balls, 2 strikes. Elgin coach handing the umpire more balls here. Again, the count 0-2, 1 out. Here in the top of the second inning, Rouse holds on to that 3-1 lead. They've got a base runner on 1, Robbie Ramos-Caro. At bat, the third baseman, Caleb Diaz, in an 0-2 hole, trying to get his way out here. The wind's starting to pick back up. Harkins trying to pick on a 1-3 over to Woodard. The base runner safe. Again, keeping him honest tonight here. He's done that several times tonight. letting Rouse know that he's going to have an eye on him all night. The right-handed delivery, this one hit up, jumping up, and the shortstop making a grab. Beautiful job there by Jace Grady on the line 6 for the second out. That one right into the glove, and Jace able to haul it in. And we move back to the top of the order. Number 2, the second baseman, Nick Hempel, scored a run as part of that 3-run homer off the bat of Jared Southard in the first. Nick Hempel also had a hit, though, and he is 1 for 1 tonight. So the base runner remains on 1 for Rouse. Nick Hempel, a right-handed hitter for the Rouse Raiders. Stands with that right foot down in the lower corner of the batter's box. Pitch up too high here. The catcher going to try to pick now on a 1-3 as Navejas goes over to Dante Woodard, and the base runner still safe at first. Want to know the early count here. 2 outs. Harkins again looking over that left shoulder multiple times here. Now the right-handed delivery. Rouse trying to get a steal over to second. Did he get there in time? Safe is the call. Got there just in the nick of the time, so give the stolen base to Ramos Caro, now in scoring position on second. Count here 2-0 for Nick Hempel. Now Harkins checking over his right shoulder. Right-handed delivery on the way. The fastball too far outside, though, as it curves out at the last moment. 2-1 the count. Or 3-0, beg your pardon. Harkins giving up 1 walk so far tonight. The pitch on the way here. And walked him. Another base on balls reached. Hempel will go over to first. So runners at 1 and 2 now for the Rouse Raiders. We move back to the left-handed hitter, number 5, Dalton Porter. Porter 0 for tonight. He reached on a walk, was able to come around and score that second run on the 3-run homer by Jared Southard. So again, top of the second, 2 outs. Base runners on 1 and 2 for Rouse. Harkins checks over his right shoulder, lets this one fly off of his hand. A lot of velocity behind that ball in the fastball, and it's called a strike. 0-1 across the plate. Oh, 1 delivery. This one tipped foul into the net. 0-2. So Dalton Porter trying to advance his runners and keep this inning alive for his team here in the top of the second. Rouse leading 3-1, trying to put a little more cushion on it. And this one's going to ground foul. The count remains no balls, 2 strikes for Dalton Porter. A little bit of time being taken here. As Jacob Navejas taking some time, finally gets set back behind home plate. Right-handed delivery on the way. This one too far outside. First ball of this at-bat, 1 and 2, 2 outs. Pitch on the way. This one going to be laced out to left field. Trying to chase it down is Ethan Owens, and Owens makes the grab and retires Dalton Porter. That is the 3rd out of the inning. They're on a fly out to left field. Well, Rouse leaving 2 on here, scoring no runs. All those 1 and 2 comes off of 1 base hit. No errors in that inning, and again, 2 left on. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left on. We're through 1.5, bottom of the second upcoming. We'll step aside, take a quick break. Rouse Raider baseball continues after this. This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by the Shoning Hipp Network. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, use of sound bites and interviews, and use of any other content, including audio or video, without the direct written consent and permission by the Shoning Hipp Network is strictly prohibited and protected by federal and copyright laws. All rights are reserved by the Shoning Hipp Network and SHNSports.com. Welcome back in action here, leading off for the Elgin Wildcats in their white jerseys with the purple stripes will be the catcher, number 8, Jacob Navajos. Julia Engelman from Georgetown joining us tonight. Appreciate Julia. She's checking out some 19-5A action here. As Navajos. Pitch on the way to Navajos, and it's going to be called a strike. Beautiful pitch there by Jacob Harkins.
A strike on Navajos.
1-0, the 0-1, the early count here on Navajos. Pitch on the way. And he swung at that one. He tried to pull back on it. He's going to be called for the strike, 0-2. Fans not happy.
No,
they called it a ball.
It a ball.
It was a late call there.
The first base umpire said he didn't go around.
Well, Rouse fans not happy with that call. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss on this one, 1-2.
Well, Thomas says, I'll blow it by you and get the strike.
Navajos behind here on a 1-2. Harkin. As Thomas lets this one fly off the bat, it goes, and it remains 1-2. Yeah, it is getting a little chilly out here now, Michael.
It is for sure.
And Navajos going to call time here as he steps out, adjusts his helmet. Stands with that right foot down in the lower quadrant of the corner and calls time again here. He is taking quite a bit of time. He took time earlier as a catcher, too. Now he gets set here, swinging his bat, gets back in rhythm. 1-2 delivery off the right hand on its way by Thomas. Pulls back on this one, going to be low and a ball.
Wow, that's a pretty nice looking pitch, to be honest with you.
2-2 the call. Elgin in their black jerseys tonight. Pitch here. This one's going to pop up into the air, and the center fielder, Jamison Slater, is going to get under it and makes a grab with the left hand. First out on a fly 8.
He didn't take but maybe one step to make that catch.
One out here in the bottom of the second. Rouse leading 3-1. Elgin at bat. We move to the 7th in the order. The pitcher, number 6, Jacob Harkins, a right-handed hitter for the Wildcats of Elgin. Hayden Thomas looking for the second out. Pitch on the way. Cuts low and out. Late in that pitch, 1-0. 1-0 delivery off the right hand. The velocity behind it. The fastball right across the plate for a strike. 1-1. See, even Rouse has some some Georgetown fans out there listening.
Well, good.
This one hit off foul territory near the Rouse Raider dugout. Count 1-2. I was going to mention, I've got a tremendous amount of respect for so many of these kids here in this area, and not just because we broadcast for them, but the kids at Rouse have always cheered on Georgetown whenever Georgetown remains in the playoffs in any sport, and then I see the same thing with the Georgetown kids cheering on Rouse. So it's good to have that kind of brotherhood here in the district play.
Well, that's one thing I've always believed in. I believe in the rivalries in between schools, but I don't think that needs to carry over to where you're enemies.
Yeah.
And
you want your district to continue to win, and, if you're not the one that's in it. And I think that's a lot to be said, and Rouse has always done a great job of that. 3-2 payoff pitch. This one's going to go way foul, and, boy, they better close the window of the concession stand. I've seen a ball actually – I saw one time at Eastview, a foul ball actually flew into the concession stand window.
Wow.
So
that's a long haul there.
It was, yeah. And the payoff pitch again here on a 3-2. Somebody can get a little free mustard and ketchup on their hot dog. They'll let the ball hit inside. Well, he had to inchworm on this one. It's going to be a walk. First base on balls here tonight from the arm of Hayden Thomas. Will put Harkins on 1.
And we'll have a courtesy runner come in, and I'll get you his number here in just a second, Rob. Looks like number 9, that's going to be Ty McFarland, which scored the only run from Tuesday night.
Move to the 8th in the order, the designated hitter, number 3, Hunter Johnston, a right-handed batter for the Elgin Wildcats.
And he only had 1 at bat in Tuesday night's game and struck out, I believe, to end the game.
Well, the sun, we're not going to see any more of it now. The cloud's rolling in right behind it, the pitch on its way, and it's going to be called a ball here, too far out, 1-0. Thomas standing with that right foot on the center of the rubber, swinging a miss here as he caught him. He threw it out in that nice curve as he got Hunter Johnston to bite on it, and it's even now, aces across the board. 1-1 delivery. And this one looked good on the corner, but a little too close inside. 2-1. In bottom of the second, Rouse leading 3-1. Elgin at bat and a 2-1. Base runner on first. Your tying run at home plate right now. Next pitch going to be too far outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. (3-1) delivery. This one curves too far out, and now base runners on 1 and 2. Back-to-back base on balls by Hayden Thomas. That will move the courtesy runner Ty McFarland over to second. And Hunter Johnston will reach on first. We move to the bottom of the order, Michael, the right fielder, number 17, Trevor Magnuson. He's a left-handed hitter. There's your lead run at plate now. Thomas looks over his right shoulder, lets this one fly, got him on the fastball across the corner, 0-1.
About to say, if you didn't call that strike right there.
We'll just shut down the broadcast and go home. No,
right.
The 0-1 kick up, right-handed delivery. This one's going to ground up. Nice grab by Thomas, and he is going to go over to second, trying to get the double play. They couldn't get there in time, but still a nice job there on the, was that over to the shortstop or the second baseman, Hempel?
I believe the second baseman.
So a 1-4 will get out Johnson. You consider that a fielder's choice there, Michael?
That is a fielder's choice.
So Magnuson will reach on a fielder's choice.
And runners on the corners.
2 outs on the board now. Runners on the corners, as Michael just said moments ago. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning. Go back to the top of the order. It is the shortstop and a pickoff by Rouse. Thomas over to Southard on a 1-3. He was able to pick off Magnuson for the 3rd out. Boy, so Thomas able to work out of a little doozy in that one.
Wow.
In that inning.
Bang pickoff play by Hayden Thomas.
No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. As we are through 2, top of the 3rd upcoming. Michael will keep things right here.
Well, that'll give the fans an opportunity to enjoy this excellent sound system here in Elgin.
Little Eye of the Tiger blaring behind us. Blaring behind us at 90 pure decibels of audio. Brother.
Yeah, from that nice brother in the press box. Oh, man, that little brother thing that me and Rob got going, it's just kind of humorous. Before the game, we were actually playing with the mixing board.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
It's kind of like one of those voice changers, you know. You get your kids and they talk into that voice, that little megaphone thing that changes the voice up like a ghost or an ominous type voice. So we were having a little fun with that.
And you know that whole thing I was telling you started from a gentleman that I know. He always called us brother. He'd always say, "What's up, brothers?" And so that's where it started from. And then you took it a step farther, which I really like. And you've got this real ominous, deep, scary voice, brother.
Yeah, you enhanced it a while ago really well. That came off pretty good.
Well, top of the third we go. Rouse leading here 3-1. Leading off will be the first baseman, third in the order, Jared Southard for the Rouse Raiders. Jared tonight is 1 for 1, 3 RBIs. He had that home run in the first that brought in 3, including himself. Harkins still on the mound. And the pitch on its way off the right hand, drops back in for a strike. Beautiful pitch there by number 6, Jacob Harkins of the Elgin Wildcats, 0-1. Delivery quickly in action. This one too low, and the count even at 1 apiece. 1 ball, 1 strike. Oh, this is my last inning to call, and then you're taking over after 3, man.
Oh.
So I'm just getting you warmed up over here, Michael.
Man, I appreciate that.
The designated caller. Grounder here. It's going to be a ball, 2-1.
Be my cousin on. He's going to come on, and he's going to carry out the rest of the game.
2-1 count here. No outs. Again, Rouse leading 3-1. Top of the third, live from Elgin High School. Just off 290. The right-handed pitch on the way. This one is going to be over to left field. This one is going deep, and it will drop. That should be enough for a double, as Ethan Owens having to chase that one down, and he got there barely in time to second base. Boy, I don't think that Southard realized that was coming in that quick, and he barely got there to second base, Michael.
He got the double. Lack of hustle, but he got there, and right now he's got 1/2 of the cycle.
So Southard will be at second on the double in scoring position. The cleanup position, the catcher number 1, Cody Vanoy, 0 for 1 as he lined one out to first base in the first. The right-handed delivery grounds this one, though, a base hit, and runners will be on the corners for Rouse. Cody Vanoy heard me say he was 0 for 1. He said, I'm going to correct that. I'm going to get back to 500, and he just did it.
Another one of the statistical leaders, Cody Vanoy.
So back-to-back hits will put Rouse in great position now with runners in the corners. Again, no outs here in the top of the third. We move to the fifth in the order. The pitcher number 10, Hayden Thomas. Thomas tonight 0 for 1. He was out on a 5-3 in the first.
Ethan Moore comes on to run for Cody Vanoy.
What number is Ethan out there?
I am not exactly sure. With these black jerseys, we changed numbers.
Number 8 is what he wears normally. Pitch on the way here, drops in for a strike, 0-1.
Harkins really loves that first pitch curveball. I've noticed that he uses it a lot, not exclusively, but.
Well, it's been working for him, at least on that first pitch. Harkins again winds up, lets this one fly. This one's going to pop up into the air. The second baseman going to track it down and has the out. And there's no room to run there for Rouse. And so that will just be a fly out to the second baseman on a fly for the first out.
Infield fly rule should have been in effect.
Yeah. Should have been an out anyways, automatic, right?
Yes.
I don't think they made anything. Everybody was running around anyways.
The only time it would not have been effect would have been when there were 2 outs.
Well, the count will reset here with a new batter. It will be John Dominguez, number 6, the designated hitter. Now Elgin trying to do a little pick action as Harkins over to Woodard, trying to keep the runner more honest there at first. Dominguez tonight 0 for 1 out on a 6-3 in the first. Pitch on the way. This one's going to hit foul. Way behind us off the Rouse Raider side, and the count at 0-1.
Coach Crampine, want to have a little conversation with him, make sure that they're on the same page, and he gets the hit that he hopes for Dominguez to get. You know, rather than to try to crush the ball, let's get it in play and let's get this run home.
Always want to shout out to our friends over at Intercom Communications. A big shout out to Snoop Daniel, Casey Johns with FanStan ATX. We appreciate the fine works that Snoop Daniel has done over the years with FanStan, expanding into baseball and basketball. This one's going to hit foul, back behind into the net in front of us, 0-2 the count.
I tell you what, I've always been impressed with Snoop Daniels and FanStan, as it started out at Friday Night FanStan, and what they've done to promote Central Texas athletes throughout the years. It's just been phenomenal. Every football team that's made it into the postseason and, put together with their eye reporters and outstanding videos. I've shared them with my family and friends and in other areas in North Texas, and they've been impressed and wish they had something similar to that in their neck of the woods. So a big shout out to Snoop and
absolutely
FanStan ATX.
Last pitch was a foul, again way behind us. The count remains 0-2 here for John Dominguez. Pitch on the way. This one over to left field. It is going deep down, and reaching up, making the grab will be Ethan Owens, but that's going to be a slack fly. And coming in to score one more will be Southard. So the RBI will go to Dominguez on the sac fly, if I'm correct. Is that right, Michael?
Yeah, I think you're right.
And so Dominguez, though, will be out on a fly 7 for the second out. But again, coming in to score will be Southard. The base runner, courtesy for Cody Vanoy, Ethan Moore, though, will stay at first. 4-1 the score now here, 2 outs. Pitch on the way to Robbie Ramos-Caro, the shortstop. That one's going to hit foul, 0-1. Caro's 1 for 1, had a hit, then a stolen base over to second, but was left stranded earlier in the second inning. 0-1 the count here, again, 2 outs. Rouse leads 4-1. Top of the third, 2 outs. And that runner remains at first. Right-handed delivery, this one going to be right into the glove of Dante Woodard for a line to first base for the third out on a line 3. So after 2 hits in a row, it turned into 3 up and 3 down for Jacob Harkins. In that inning, 1 run scored on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. We're through 2.5, bottom of the third upcoming. Don't go anywhere, folks. Rouse Raider Baseball on the SHNSports.com broadcast network will continue after this. This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by the Hipp Network. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, use of sound bites and interviews, and use of any other content, including audio or video, without the direct written consent and permission by the Hipp Network is strictly prohibited and protected by federal and copyright laws. All rights are reserved by the Hipp Network and SHNSports.com. Welcome back to Elgin, Texas. Rob Hipp alongside Michael Francis for Rouse Raider Baseball. We move back to the top of the order. It'll be Jace Grady leading off here. He was left on earlier, the shortstop number 1, and Rouse leading 4-1 here in the bottom of this inning here.
So what y'all didn't know about our grand director here, he's multi-talented. Not only does he own a broadcasting company and being an IT professional, he's also an Uber driver, and he owns his own DJ business.
You got to do what you can to make a living these days. Yeah. Low pitch here going to be called a ball. 1-0 the early count on Jace Grady. Jace tonight is 1 for 1. Had a hit and had a home run single there in the first.
I got to ask you, though, Rob, how much did that DJ system actually cost you there?
This one on the way, called a ball, 2-0.
Is that a Dr. Dre setup?
I have no idea.
Well, it says GAFF on it. I didn't know.
You're talking about the tape. I like that, yeah.
Pro Gaff.
The Pro Gaff. There you go. Pitch on the way. This one, boy, that looked too low. I saw dirt come up, and they called a strike on that, Michael. 2-1.
Yeah, we got a fan that's rather vocal over my right shoulder. He's having fun.
Hey, vocal within means. That's all right. 2-1 the count here as Jace Grady steps back, calls time, steps back into the box. The left-handed hitter for the Wildcats of Elgin. Hayden Thomas on the mound, of course, for Rouse. Kicks up the left leg. The right-handed fastball too far outside. 3-1 the count.
Well, Thomas definitely going to be careful to leave anything over the middle of the plate when Grady took him yard in the first.
Just after 8 o'clock, 8:07. Pitch on the way. Well, that one looked close, and they say no, and they walked him. Wow. It's a little. Sometimes you wonder, but that's the way it goes, and Jace Grady will reach first on a base on balls. Second in the order, the center fielder, number 7, Jonathan Gonzalez. Gonzalez tonight 0 for 1 out on 6-3 in the first. Took me a minute for me to get that gaff and all that. Michael was talking for those listeners and viewers out there. He's talking about the gaff tape, and we were using that as the DJ
our
equipment.
Scratchy record sound.
Right-handed pitch, pulls back on this one, looking for the bunt, going to be called a ball 1-0.
Hempel and Diaz coming in to play the bunt. Ramos goes to take cover second.
The infield moving in now as he pulls back. Now Elgin going to try to steal to second. Did he get there in time? They got him. What a play out there by Cody Vanoy. Over to the second baseman, Nick Hempel, out on a 2-4. Wow.
I think that was planned, Rob, the way that they came in like that. You saw Diaz and Hempel come in to play the bunt, and Gonzales lays off, and Vanoy makes the throw down.
2-0 on the way. That one's going to hit foul. 2-1 the count now on Jonathan Gonzalez, the center fielder. You talk about execution. You said it. Beautiful play there, and Rouse knew what was going on. Pitch here on the 2-1. Right across the plate as he looked at it, 2-2.
I'll tell you what, this fan over here, I don't know if he's for Rouse or he's for Elgin, but he's sitting among Elgin people. You know what
This one's going to go foul. 2-2, the count remains. Two-two kick-up pitch on the way. This one curves too far out and low, and we've got a full count now at 3-2.
Yeah, I hope this doesn't get ugly. We're kind of in between all of it.
We'll throw up the gaff DJ system. Right-handed pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Got him on that one, Hayden Thomas. Or the second out.
Thomas' second strikeout of the game.
Both of those strikeouts were swinging. The first one, Michael, coming in that fifth position. The third baseman, Gonzalez, struck out swinging for the third out in the first. We move to the third in the order, the second baseman, number 24, Isaac Davila. Right-handed batter for Elgin. Pitch on the way. This one got him looking for the strike. Davila is 0 for 1 out on a 6-4. No, I beg your pardon. He's 1 for 1.
No, you're
had
right.
a hit.
He was 6-4 on the because it was a fielder's choice.
Yep, that's right. He was moving over to second and couldn't get there. 1-1 the count here. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 outs we are in the bottom of the third. Rouse leading 4-1. Thomas doing some work tonight on the mound after giving up that leadoff home run, and he's redeemed himself quite nicely here. Right-handed pitch on the way. Drops in for the strike. 1-2 again looking. One-two delivery. Swing and a miss. Hayden Thomas back-to-back strikeouts. 3 up, 3 down in that inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. And we are through 3 innings. Rouse leading 4-1 here live tonight at Elgin High School at the Elgin baseball field. We'll step aside and take a break. When we come back, it's Michael Francis, brother, after this. This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by the Hipp Network. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, use of sound bites and interviews, and use of any other content, including audio or video, without the direct written consent and permission by the Hipp Network is strictly prohibited and protected by federal and copyright laws. All rights are reserved by the Hipp Network and SHNSports.com. Welcome back to Rouse Raider Baseball. Top of the fourth inning upcoming. I'll send it over. Michael Francis taking over the play-by-play duties. Michael, over to you, my friend. I get to relax now.
Well, thank you,
I'm
sir.
going to take a nap. No, I'm just kidding.
Leading off for your Rouse Raiders here in the fourth, that'll be number 14, Cody Kelch, standing in from the right side. Cody, a strikeout victim, back in the second as he was caught looking as he takes ball one. 1-0 the count to Kelch as we get things started. Pitch from Harkins bounces wildly in front of Navejas back to the fence. Caleb Diaz maintaining his 1,000% on-deck percentage. On-deck fielding percentage. Awesome. That man will get an award, I'm sure, district honors.
It always takes me a while to find out the on-deck percentage that you keep saying. I know what you're talking about.
Right. 2-1 to count to Kelch, down and away, and
he's winding him up quickly here as he's already thrown 4 pitches here, and that was fast pitching so far, Michael.
Harkins winds, curveball in for a strike, and count goes full. A nice-looking pitch from Harkins. He's lived by that curveball all night long. He really has.
You talked about how he's led off with that, too, so far, and it's worked for him tonight. The payoff upcoming.
Navejas gives him the sign, and Kelch pops this one up. It's playable. Woodard tracks it, makes the catch, and Kelch is retired for out number 1.
Nice little 5-3. That Woodard has played great at first base tonight for the Wildcats. And once again, had to look up and grab that one on the right snag of the glove. Doing a great job tonight for Elgin.
Well, he's fielded 3 outs right there, or right from that position all night long. That'll bring up the number 9 batter in Caleb Diaz as he wears number 9. He takes fastball for ball 1. The pitch, that's in the dirt for ball 2.
2 quick pitches and 2 quick balls thrown there by Jacob Harkins. My fingers are freezing now. We need to get I need some gloves.
The 2-0, that's inside for ball 3.
I've always called those inchworms. They kind of look like an inchworm when they come in, and if you throw too many of those, the batter may fly away as a caterpillar.
Right. The 3-0 pitch, that's going to be in for a strike, and the count will go to 3-1 to Caleb Diaz. 1 out, nobody on here in the top of the fourth for your Rouse Raiders. The pitch, that misses inside for ball 4, and Caleb gets the free pass. That is Harkins' second free pass of the night.
I think it may actually be his third. He walked Porter, and then he walked Nick Hempel as well.
Right.
Yeah,
I see that. His third walk of the night, and that'll bring up to the top of the order. We go with Nick Hempel. Throw over will not be in time.
Hempel 1 for 1 tonight. He was part of that lead off that 3-run homer off the bat of Southard.
The pitch, that's down and away for ball 1. 1 on, 1 out here in the top of the 4th. Hempel gets a sign from Coach Crimpine and steps back in. Harkins from the stretch. This is popped up and is going to go foul.
Ho!
And hits the top of the brother in the press box.
Oh, man. Sound like that sound that you just heard about a week or two ago when we had the hailstorm. I don't know if did you guys get hail in Leander area?
Yes, we did.
Boy, I was at Chili's eating after a Georgetown game.
I saw that. You shared you
that
posted
noise.
a video.
You multiply that times about 300, and that's what we heard. My car actually got dinged up pretty bad in that.
1-1, the throw back down to first. That goes wildly into right foul territory. And Hempel, or Diaz, all the way around to third.
Who threw that, Michael? I didn't catch that.
That was Jacob Navejas. Made the throw down to first.
It's an E2.
That's going to be an E2, and Caleb Diaz now sits at third base. 2 stolen bases.
It's the first error tonight by either team. Coming here in the 4th.
1-2, the count to Hempel. The pitch, swing and a miss. And Hempel goes down on strikes. 2 away with 1 on, runner at third in the form of Caleb Diaz. And that'll bring up number 5, Dalton Porter.
Porter tonight 0 for 1, had a fly up to left field in the second, reached on a walk, came around and scored as part of that 3-run homer by Jared Southard in the first. Porter was fixing his hair. He knew his hair didn't look good in that helmet.
I don't know what David Pierce will think about that when he gets to Longhorn land in a couple of years. Dalton Porter, sophomore for the Raiders. Some cut on, pop back to the net. And again, he's another one of those statistical leaders, both in batting averages, home runs, runs batted in, and runs scored. Harkins comes set. The pitch, right down the pipe, a swing and a miss from Porter for strike 2.
Again, Michael wanted to remind the fans the SHN fan line is open. Send a text to us, 512-522-9105. Will you be the first Rouse Raider fan to ever text us? Let us know.
Swing and a miss, and Porter is retired. Back-to-back strikeouts for Harkins at the end of the inning, and on to the bottom of the 4th we go.
Michael,
with the Rouse Raiders leading 4-1. No runs, no hits, no errors.
I was going to say, Michael, sorry about that. We'll step aside, take a quick break. Michael Francis on the call continues here in the bottom or the top of the 5th. We'll be right back after this. This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by the Hipp Network. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, use of sound bites and interviews, and use of any other content, including audio or video, without the direct written consent and permission by the Hipp Network is strictly prohibited and protected by federal and copyright laws. All rights are reserved by the Hipp Network and SHNSports.com.
And we're back in Elgin, and Hayden Thomas is on to pitch the 4th as Elgin is awaiting their turn at bat. Leading off will be Dante Woodard, followed by Andrew Gonzalez and Jacob Navejas. Woodard hit for a fielder's choice back in the first.
Leading off for the Wildcats, number 32, Dante Woodard.
Dante Woodard, a Texas State commit. And one of his aspirations in his post-high school career is the construction sciences.
Do you count the fielder's choice as an at-bat?
Yes, I believe you do.
So he'd be 0 for 1 tonight then because he reached on that choice in the first.
He takes for strike 1, a swing and a miss for strike 2 on that one. 0-2, the count to Mr. Woodard. Thomas picks up the sign from Vinoy. Hayden pitches exclusively from the stretch, so swing and a miss as Woodard chases some high cheese for strike 3.
Now batting third baseman, Andrew Gonzalez.
That'll bring up number 15, Andrew Gonzales, the third baseman.
It's the 4th strikeout of the evening by Jacob Harkins. Remember, in that 3rd inning, he came alive with back-to-back strikeouts for the 2 and 3.
Pitch in for a strike. 0-1, the count to Gonzales. The pitch, fastball, just misses low for ball 1, the count evens. One out with nobody on here in the bottom of the 4th for the Wildcats. Pitch from Thomas, it's fouled off for strike 2. 1-2, the count to Andrew Gonzales. The 1-2 pitch, a swing and a miss, and Gonzales is retired.
4 strikeouts in a row now, swinging by Jared or Jacob. Beg your pardon, by Jared Southard. Hayden Thomas, yeah, didn't have my thing flipped. Doing a great job tonight at that mound now. He took him a while to find his rhythm, Michael, but he's got it.
The catcher, number 8, Jacob Navejas, comes to the plate. Navejas flew out to center. Back in the 2nd. Pitch misses for ball 1. Thomas actually kind of had it up in the zone on the outside part of the plate. Curveball in for a strike. Navejas thought he was going to get hit by it, ducks out of the way, and it comes back over the plate for the strike. 1-1, the count to Navejas. The pitch. Oh. That's in and out of the top of the glove of Vinoy and gets the umpire in the face. And nice article in the Hill Country News about Cody Vinoy. If you get the opportunity, you can look that up online and read that online. Curveball. Wow.
Rouse fans not happy. I couldn't agree more. That looked like a strike.
Man, that was a perfect curveball. Not sure where that missed. 3-1, the count to Navejas. Swing and a miss, and the count goes full. That call might have been a little retaliation there for Cody Vinoy letting that ball hit the umpire in the mask. Nah, I would never suggest that an umpire would do that. Never. That's just funning around. Payoff pitch coming up from Thomas. Fastball misses the outside of the plate for ball 4.
Well, up until that point, Hayden Thomas had retired 4 in a row, now allows that walk there, and so far on the night, that is only his 3rd walk that he's allowed.
We have a courtesy runner coming on, and number 2, that's going to be Jacob Neidig.
Number 2, Jacob Neidig.
Yeah, well, at least I read that right.
Jacob Harkins.
The way it's spelled, it's N-E-I-D-I-G is his last name. So,
yeah, I heard someone pronounce that as Neidig once.
And Neidig is his name. First pitch strike from Hayden Thomas on a fastball. Gets the lower part of the zone for strike 1. 0-1, the count to Jacob Harkins. That's chopped on and goes foul for strike 2. Oh, and 2 the count. To the pitcher, Jacob Harkins.
Benoit smiling out there at the umpires. He's chasing that one around. He's having some fun tonight.
He usually has a pretty good rapport with the umpires, with the officials.
One of the umpires here is going to talk things over in the Rouse Raider dugout, and he may be telling them to take it down a notch. Not exactly sure, but he's not happy with something as he walked over to the Rouse Raider dugout.
You normally don't see that, except when the opposing team is on the field.
Well, he came out and
at the plate.
When he went over there, he took both of his hands, and it was kind of like a, hey, settle down type. And I didn't really see anything going on over there.
I really hadn't been paying a whole lot of attention to the chatter. That pitch misses for ball 1. 1-2 the count to Harkin. 1 on with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Thomas comes set. He delivers a fastball in for strike 3, and Harkins caught looking. I believe that is his first strikeout looking tonight.
That is correct.
No runs, no hits, no errors. On to the bottom we go, or to the top of the 5th we go here in Elgin with your Rouse Raiders leading 4-1. You're listening to Rouse Raider Baseball on SHN Sports.
This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by the Hipp Network. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, use of sound bites and interviews, and use of any other content, including audio or video, without the direct written consent and permission by the Hipp Network is strictly prohibited and protected by federal and copyright laws. All rights are reserved by the Hipp Network and SHNSports.com.
Everybody to Elgin, where Raiders are due up to bat, and that'll be Jared Southard, Cody Vanoy, and Hayden Thomas. Jacob Harkins back on the bump for the Wildcats to pitch the 5th, and to see if he can tame the Raider bats. Raiders have put 4 on the board. Jared Southard has scored 2 of those runs and drove the other 2 in.
Hey, wanted to acknowledge a message coming in, the first ever Rouse Raider fan line text message. And so that's going to go to Ethan Moore's dad, Greg. It says, watching from Leander, saying you guys sound great. And then in parentheses, as usual, greatly appreciate your coverage, Ethan Moore's dad, Greg. So if you've got a shout out there from Rouse or even from Elgin, make sure to send us a text message to the SHN fan line. We appreciate the Moore family. If you've got one as well, send us a text to 512-522-9105. Again, that number, 512-522-9105.
Jared Southard stands in as he takes ball 1. Thanks for texting in, Greg. We appreciate it. Thank you for supporting your son in Rouse Raider Baseball. Again, that curveball that he lives by in for a strike. Fastball missed on his first pitch. Count now 1-1. The wind and the delivery. This is cut on and popped up playable. Andrew Gonzalez over at third makes the catch, and Southard is retired to start the 5th.
Well, up until that point, of course, he led off with that 3-run homer in the first as a third in the order. He was 2 for 2 tonight up until that moment, now standing at 2 and 3, but still a good night, making his case for the SHN Sports Rouse Raider Baseball Player of the Game.
And that'll bring up the catcher, Cody Vanoy. Vanoy 1 for 2 on the night. He lined out to first in the first and got a single to left in the third. The 1-0 pitch, that's too high, way above the head, probably about a foot over. for ball 2.
Yeah, those last 2 pitches way up too high. I always like to say somebody left the attic door open. Time to close that thing up. It's causing a draft, a vacuum.
Harkins winds and delivers. That's ball 3. It's up at the shoulders.
Close the door.
3-0 the count to Cody Vanoy. The pitch from Harkins, that's in ball 4, and Vanoy reaches on 4 straight pitches. That article in the Hill Country News about Vanoy, one of the things that he always does before the game is to communicate with the umpire and let them know that he's there for them to try to protect them on anything but foul balls. So Ethan Moore comes in to courtesy run for the catcher. And he extends his lead at first. Harkins picks up the sign from the Vejas as Hayden Thomas stands in. Pitch in the dirt for ball 1.
Well, Harkins has allowed 4 to reach on base on balls here this evening. Of course, moments ago, Vanoy reaching.
Hayden Thomas 0 for 2 on the night. He grounded the third and the first and flew out on an infield fly in the third.
Last pitch, a strike there, Michael. 1-1, aces across the board.
Pitch in for a called strike. 1-2 the count to Thomas. Moore extends the lead. Thomas holds off and takes for ball 2. 2-2 the count to Mr. Thomas. The pitch, swing and a miss. This will be thrown into center field. Ethan Moore rounds second as though he was headed to third. Now his track speed, he'll get to third. He'll get to third on the overthrow into the infield, and that goes all the way to the backstop, and Ethan Moore's over at third.
Not even going to try to figure out who that error is. It was all over the place. I would almost say back-to-back errors. There's 2 errors on that play, Michael. Would you call it that?
Yeah, you would have to.
Because he reached on the error on the first one and then on that second one as well. So there was 2 errors on that one play alone.
Thomas retired on the strikeout. And Ethan Moore on third by virtue of throwing errors by Elgin.
John Dominguez.
So that'll bring up John Dominguez. He's 1 for 2, grounded to short and a sac fly to left back in the third. The pitch from Harkins, the curveball, and Dominguez sits on this, but Trevor Magnuson tracks it over into right center and makes the catch to retire Dominguez, and that'll retire the side. No runs, no hits, no error, 2 errors, 1 left on. On to the bottom of the 5th we go here in Elgin. Your Rouse Raiders leading 4-1.
This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by the Hipp Network. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, use of sound bites and interviews, and use of any other content, including audio or video, without the direct written consent and permission by the Hipp Network is strictly prohibited and protected by federal and copyright laws. All rights are reserved by the Hipp Network and SHNSports.com.
Magnuson and Jace Grady. Hunter Johnson 0 for 1 on the night. He grounded back to Thomas. As he takes strike one. Fastball gets the outside corner. Swing and a miss for strike two. Pitch. Swing and a miss for strike three. One out. And I know it heard some mouthing over there. I hope it's not players talking like that.
That's 7 strikeouts now tonight by Hayden Thomas for the Rouse Raiders, and you can tell why he leads that category here in Central Texas.
Swing and a miss from Trevor Magnuson for strike one. We're at the bottom of the order. Magnuson 0 for 1, hit into a fielder's choice his first at bat. So he takes for strike two.
It's 5 strikes in a row now by Hayden Thomas.
Thomas comes set. The 0-2 pitch. That's in the dirt for ball one. Thomas, a good downhill pitcher. You normally don't see him leave stuff up in the zone too much. The 1-2 pitch, fastball that Magnuson just gets a piece of. And sends it foul. As Vinoy was unable to hang on to it. If he'd been able to hang on to it, it'd been a strike 3 out.
Thought you said pizza. I'm getting hungry.
Wendy's done gone, huh? The 1-2 pitch, a curveball in for strike 3. As Vinoy sails this one into left field on the throw around. That's 2 away. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the 5th. Back to the top of the order we go in Jace Grady. Grady 1 for 1 on the night as he's hit a home run and drew the walk back in the 3rd inning. Swing and a miss from Grady for strike 1.
Well, Hayden Thomas has really found his rhythm now. 8 strikeouts tonight, 2 up, 2 down in this inning, and continuing his damage here.
The pitch. This one's hit way out to right. Dalton Porter goes foul. Dalton Porter didn't have the horses to reach it had it landed in fair territory.
Well, he had the rocket fuel early on and then just ran out there. And luckily, Michael, that ball dropped foul just inside the fence and just to the right of the line. That was close.
That was definitely close. But it's just ultimately a strike, and so Jace Grady now 0-2. 2 away with nobody on here in the bottom of the 5th with Rouse leading 4-1. Fastball that stayed up and tailed away for ball one. 1-2 the count to Jace Grady. The 1-2 pitch, fastball.
Wow.
Right down the middle. I don't know about that. That is 2-2 the count. Cut on and fouled off, and the count remains even at 2. Sitting here watching some of the fans, and I'm sure the crowd mic is picking up this very boisterous.
I put the crowd mic under the stands. Mainly
Deuce is wild to Jace Grady. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. That was fouled off, and that goes out of play.
See, that's where you need to get a company like Papa John's to sponsor the light pole. You can call that the pizza pole, and if it hits over there, everybody gets a free slice of pizza.
Right. Hit it here. Get a free breakfast taco.
I've been telling Whataburger they need to sponsor some. They need to call what's called a What a Win, and they need to have a Whataburger What a Win. They don't. They haven't done it yet.
No, they haven't done it. You need to call. I believe their corporate offices are down in Corpus Christi. The 2-2 pitch. This is fouled off, and it goes out of play. Cody Kelch on his horse, trying to get over to it.
Close to that Papa John pizza pole.
Tell you what, Cody Kelch has got some speed, folks. If you ever watch him on the bases, and he runs full out. And he gets a head of steam going. He is full out.
He charted, almost 30 yards out there?
Yeah, don't get in his way. He's a force to be reckoned with. This is a curveball. This gets into right field for a base hit. And Jace is able to extend the inning for the Wildcats with the single to the right. And that'll bring up number 7, Jonathan Gonzalez, the center fielder. He's second in the order. He's 0 for 2 on the night. He grounded to short back in the first and struck out in the third. 1 on with 2 outs for Gonzales as he takes strike 1.
Wanted to mention there, Michael, that was only the 3rd hit tonight by Elgin. Their first 2 hits coming in the first inning.
The 0-1 is now going to be 0-2 as he fouls that one back to the net. Isaac Davila, man, just increased his on-deck fielding percentage. Last week, you remember he booted a ball up against the fence on the carom and really took a hit. The 0-2, a curveball drops him for strike 3. Oh, my goodness. What a beautiful pitch from Hayden Thomas as he catches Gonzales looking to end the inning. No runs on 1 hit, no errors. Rouse Raiders lead it 4-1. On to the 6th inning we go. You're listening to Friday Night Baseball on SHN Sports.
This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by the Hipp Network. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, use of sound bites and interviews, and use of any other content, including audio or video, without the direct written consent and permission by the Hipp Network is strictly prohibited and protected by federal and copyright laws. All rights are reserved by the Hipp Network and SHNSports.com.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here in Elgin tonight where your Rouse Raiders lead the Elgin Wildcats by a score of 4-1. It has been a good night of baseball. It's a chilly night of baseball, but it's baseball. And it sure beats the dog days of summer, Rob.
That's right. Hey, wanted to mention another Rouse Raider fan texting us tonight, the second fan in the history of Rouse Raider baseball on SHN, sending us a text message. So you'll go down as number 2 in history here, saying, great job, guys. Sure miss watching my son Donovan Luce play. Love watching these boys play baseball. Thanks for broadcasting so I can see them in away games. That coming in from John Luce. We appreciate John. And as well, if you have a text message, feel free to send it to us at 512-522-9105. Again, that fan line is open for text messaging at 512-522-9105.
Jacob Harkins back on the hill for the Wildcats to pitch the 6th as Ramos Caro stands in and he takes ball 1. That pitch in for a called strike. The 1-1. That's in the dirt for ball 2. The 2-1 pitch from Harkins. That's fouled back to the fence for strike 2, and that'll even the count. Ramos Caro 1 for 2 on the night. This is cut on and hit over third. Gonzales has it. The throw over to Woodard at first in time, and Ramos Caro is retired for out number 1. That'll be 5-3 on the putout. And that'll bring up the left fielder, Cody Kelch. He has been caught looking and flew out to first. Harkins winds and delivers. He drops that signature curveball in for strike 1. Nothing in 1, the count to Kelch. The pitch, a fastball that's swung on and fouled back to the net for strike 2.
It's good when those hit the net. You know, the net needs a good cleaning once in a while, and the dust flies off the net. So,
well, as long as it doesn't hit me.
As long as the net continues to hold itself up.
Absolutely. The 0-2 from Harkins. A swing and a miss from Kelch, and that'll retire Kelch for out number 2. 2 away with nobody on. Raiders lead 4-1 as Caleb Diaz steps up to the dish.
It's the 5 strikeouts tonight by Jacob Harkins.
The pitch, curveball, surprise, surprise, in for strike 1. The 0-1, this is fouled off for strike 2. Harkins working through the bottom of the Raider order as he has only given up 1 hit to the bottom 3 batters, and Diaz caught looking. So Harkins having a good night on the bump himself. Retires the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. On to the bottom of the 6th we go here in Elgin, with the Raiders leading the Wildcats 4-1. You're listening to Rouse Raider Baseball on SHN Sports.
This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by the Hipp Network. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, use of sound bites and interviews, and use of any other content, including audio or video, without the direct written consent and permission by the Hipp Network is strictly prohibited and protected by federal and copyright laws. All rights are reserved by the Hipp Network and SHNSports.com.
Leading off for the Elgin Wildcats will be number 24, Isaac Davila, the second baseman. Following him will be Dante Woodard and Andrew Gonzales.
Leading off for Elgin,
Hayden Thomas back on the bump to pitch the 6th, as he had a 3 strikeout inning back in the 5th. 2 swinging, 1 caught looking. He delivers a swing and a miss from Davila for strike 1.
Picking up right where he left off is Hayden Thomas.
The 0-1, foul tip into the mitt for strike 2. Thomas comes set. He delivers. This one's popped up into foul territory. And the count will remain. I tripped over my tongue. The count will remain 0-2.
That's baseball terminology. Blah, 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 means it just means the same count.
Yeah, there you go. He tags him, and he completes the strikeout on the drop. 3rd strike, and Davila made no attempt to run down to first base. Strike and a 2U. I guess is how you'll put that on the strikeout. One away, and that'll bring up the first baseman, number 32, Dante Woodard, the Texas State commit. Pitch from Thomas, and Woodard lays down the bunt and goes foul toward the Elgin dugout.
Michael, I also wanted to point out here in just a few moments another just great media company here in this area. We'll get to that when we have time.
Thomas picks up the sign from Vinoy. Fastball down the middle. It's popped up, playable. Dalton Porter tracks it and makes the catch, and Woodard is retired for out number 2.
Nice little fly over there to right field. That thing had a lot of air behind it, but it was able to luckily come back inside, and that was a high one. That's the ones where I always say NASA wants their rockets back.
Out the plate, third baseman, number 15, Andrew.
That'll bring up Andrew Gonzales, the third baseman. He's 0 for 2 on the night. He's been struck out both times. The pitch from Thomas, curveball, just misses for ball 1.
Earlier in this inning, that first strikeout looking by Hayden Thomas. He's now in double digits with 10 strikeouts in this ball game.
Swing and a miss from Gonzales for strike 1. Count evens. The 1-1 from Thomas, a curveball, gets the inside corner for strike 2. Tell you what, that's probably the most inconsistent strike zone I think I've seen in a long time.
I was going to say that looked like a walk, to be honest. He had to turn away from it. He is leaning into home plate, though, Michael, if you look at his stance.
The 1-2, swing and a miss for strike 3. And that'll retire the side. 3 up, 3 down. Go the Wildcats. No runs, no hits, no errors. Your Rouse Raiders lead it 4-1. On to the 7th we go. You're listening to Rouse Raider Baseball on SHN Sports.
Well, Michael, we'll keep things right here. Again, thanks for joining us. I'm Rob Hipp. Michael Francis doing a great job here calling after the third inning. I got the first 3 in. Michael continuing to keep the rhythm alive here, and Rouse looking solid in this ball game so far. You know, Hayden Thomas started out struggling a bit, allowing 2 hits in that first inning, but then really redeemed himself. Now 10 strikeouts, and we see it in the newspaper as he's leading multiple categories, including strikeouts tonight, doing a great job. And, Michael, I wanted to mention, you know, we talked about the fine folks at FanStan with Intercom Communications and FanStan ATX. I also wanted to mention, good friend of mine, I've became good friends and over the past few years now just through SHN and building relationships with the fine folks at KView Television, Sean Clinch. Sean has been a reporter there, a sports anchor, alongside Mike Barnes and Stacy Slayton for quite some time now. He's an Austinite, a native Austinite, was up in Oklahoma for a while, then came back, and you know, now he's been with KView for quite some time. But it's just the power of the people here in the Austin community, in the Austin area, Central Texas, some of the finest people that you'll meet. And so it would be without me here, this may be my last Rouse broadcast because I was only covered 2 this season, but I did want to mention Sean Clinch and the fine work that he does, not only with Austin area, but here in 19-5A as well with Rouse and Georgetown. He has mentioned several times and even did some stories on some of the local baseball teams. We appreciate the fine work of Sean Clinch and the KView family as well.
Absolutely. That's the one thing about this area is the promotion of high school sports, whether it be football, basketball, or baseball, softball.
Second baseman, number 2.
Our media outlets promote it well. And that's one of the draws of the area, that people can come into this type of competitive venue. This one cut on and hit over to second. Davila plays it, makes the catch, and Hempel is retired for out number 1.
Oh, 1 pitch, 1 out, a line right there to second base, and doesn't get any quicker than that to start things off.
Right fielder, Dalton Porter.
1 away, and that'll bring up Dalton Porter. Jacob Harkins back on to close it out. So he leaves that one up for ball 1.
Right-handed pitch to the left-handed batter in Dalton Porter.
Porter drew a walk back in the first and flew out to left and struck out in the third. Fouls that one off for strike 1, and that'll even up the count to Mr. Porter. Nobody on with one out here in the top of the 7th for the Raiders. The pitch from Harkins is a curveball, and Porter hits it over to second. Davila has it over to first in time, and Porter is retired.
Routine 4-3 ground out there. 2 up, 2 down quickly for the Rouse Raiders.
And that'll bring up Jared Southard, the first baseman. Southard's had a good night. He's 1 for 3, or 2 for 3, I'm sorry. He has a home run, a double, and he flew out to third. And he takes for strike 1. The 0-1 was fouled off for strike 2, and El Fuego down in the count, 0-2.
Every time I think of that movie, then I think of the Del Fuegos.
The 0-2 from Harkins. A swing and a miss, and Southard is retired, and so are the Raiders. No runs, no hits, no errors, and on to the bottom of the 2nd we go. And, Rob, it's working pretty quick here, as that top half of the inning probably didn't last 2 minutes, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep things right here. The final 3 outs on the way here. Rouse doing a great job tonight on the defensive and the offensive end. And you got to give Elgin credit, though. Harkins, a great pitching performance here late in the game. Struggled early, and, really it comes down to Rouse with that 3-run homer by Jared Southard. He was 3rd in the order, and all 3, you saw Nick Hempel to lead things off with the hit. Then Dalton Porter reached on a base on balls. That put runners at 1 and 2, and then Southard said, I'm just going to go ahead and go up 3-0, and that really got things going. And besides that little blip, Elgin has stayed in this one pretty good, but now it's down to the final 3 outs. Rouse has just got to keep their composure here on the mound. And are we going to see Hayden Thomas close this one out?
Yep,
I think he should, and he will.
He'll have another complete game. And he may lead in that category as well, but it's not a statistic that the Statesman posts.
Well, we hope the Rouse Raider fans enjoying the broadcast tonight. Michael Francis on the call here through the final 4 innings of play. I did the first 3. I'm Rob Hipp. Michael Francis, appreciate you. It's been a fun 2 games, and Rouse will be in the playoffs, and we will have those coverages. Just to let folks know, there's still a couple of games left here at 19.5A on video. But then after that, the broadcast will go to audio only, so make sure to join us. And there still is a perk to, of course, listen because you can keep up with the team. But we'll have that scoreboard on the screen as well, even though it'll be audio only, so you'll be able to keep up with the game visually that way,
right.
Michael.
Yeah, and you'll be able to see that when runners are on base, so we'll have those lit up on the scoreboard. And you'll be able to keep up with us that way, as well as listening to the fine dulcet tones of myself and whoever happens to be working with me.
Whoever the genie provides. What we really do is we just have a bunch of dice and we throw them on the floor, and then whoever's name, and that's how we do it. No, I'm just kidding.
Jacob Nevejas will step up to the plate to lead off the 7th for the Wildcats, and Hayden Thomas back on the hill to close it out for the Raiders. Thomas comes set. He delivers a fastball, swung on and missed by Nevejas for strike 1. The 0-1 from Thomas, a curveball, swung on and missed for strike 2.
11 strikeouts already by Hayden Thomas, trying to look for his 12th here.
The 0-2 pitch. High and inside for ball 1. Thomas toes in on the rubber, and he delivers. This one's fouled back, and the count will remain 1-2. Jacob Harkins. Man, what an outstanding on-deck fielder that he is. He's one of the tops in districts with 1,000%. Pitch from Thomas. Fouled off by Nevejas to stay alive.
It's one of those unfortunate stats, though, that a lot of players, all players share in. The 1,000, 100%.
Not always. There's that occasional boot, as we discussed earlier with Davila when he caromed off the wall. Swing and a miss. And Navejas is retired for out number 1.
12 in a row now for Hayden Thomas. His rhythm continuing tonight for the Rouse Raiders. What a performance by that young man on the mound. And Coach going to come over here and talk things over with Hayden. What is his pitch count out? Because you can only get to 110. He's surely not near that yet.
Yeah, I think he may be.
And that's probably what's happening. So he's not going to get to pitch a full game here as Rouse will bring on a new pitcher. It looks like number 6.
Dominguez comes on in relief of Hayden Thomas. Thomas bumping up, getting the standing O from the Rouse Raider faithful who traveled here with us. So he finishes the night with 12 strikeouts.
Boy, so, you know that he wanted to finish that, but the UIL rule, you can only pitch 110. He was probably at that. You know that young man wanted to finish this one out.
Well, I know that Dante Woodard went over the other night against Rouse by 5, but that was because he reached 110 during that at-bat. And so he got to continue to finish the at-bat.
I wonder if you accidentally goof on that. Is there a penalty that you face if you accidentally, or is it kind of a slap on the wrist, don't do it again type deal?
Well, I'm not sure what the rule on that is, Rob. I'd really have to go back and look at it because coaches have adhered to that 110 rule. Usually you'll see them whenever they're reaching that point. The coaches will relieve them before, or maybe not even let them start the inning. So.
Well, still some fans here pretty rowdied up.
Well, it's the same one that has been all night long. He's having a good time. So
that was the call.
Heard it from the press box. For the first time this season, Hayden Thomas reaches the maximum pitch count, and that'll bring up John Dominguez in relief.
And does Thomas move over to center field? Is that what I just heard?
He moved over to center field, and Jamison Slater came in. Dominguez has the sign, and he delivers. Fastball stays up in the zone for ball 1. Jacob Harkins now batting. He's walked and struck out looking. He takes for strike 1. Thomas not able to get the complete game.
2 outs away, man.
But goes 6 1/3. Pitch misses for ball 2. 2-1 the count to Harkins. Dominguez winds and delivers. This gets Harkins on the hip. And Harkins will reach on the hit batter.
It's the first hit by pitch that we've seen tonight, and it comes from John Dominguez's hand. And the catcher going to move over there, Cody Vanoy, and talk things over.
Got a courtesy runner. I believe that's Ty McFarland.
It is. We saw him courtesy run back in the second whenever he was out there.
And that'll bring up number 3, Hunter Johnson, the designated hitter. He's hitting for Ethan Owens, the left fielder. One on with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Dominguez delivers a fastball in for strike 1. And Johnson down in the count, 0-1. The 0-1 fouled off for strike 2. Excuse me there, Rob. I got all choked up.
I didn't mean to. I'm sorry to make you sad. I'm sorry about that, Michael.
I don't know. I think I swallowed a mayfly or something.
Keep in mind here, Rouse is only ahead 4-1. You know, you've got your third run at home plate right now. Anything's possible, so Rouse has got to keep it together.
The 0-2, a swing and a miss. First base is occupied, so it completes the strikeout. 2 away. And that's the 13th batter struck out tonight by Raider pitching. That'll bring up number 17, the right fielder, Trevor Magnuson. He's 0 for 2 on the night, a fielder's choice and a strikeout. The Wildcats down to their last out. Fastball misses low for ball 1. Dominguez has 3 pitches he typically relies on. That one's fouled off. And Diaz and Kelch both making good efforts to get over to it to make the catch. And it goes into foul territory and falls to the ground.
Once again, you see the speed. You mentioned it moments ago by Cody Couch. I mean, he's tracking easily 30 yards to get over there in just a short amount of time.
He's definitely fast. The 1-1, a swing and a miss. That gets by Vanoy, in and out of the glove. And McFarland down to second on the pass ball by Vanoy.
The peanut butter.
Yep. The old PB.
Well, that runner's in scoring position now. McFarland there at 2. And again, your third run at home plate right now on a 2-2, Michael. Or a 1-2, beg your pardon.
And again, that goes. That hits Magnuson. And McFarland was on his way to third. He'll have to turn around and trot back to the bag at second.
So another hit by pitch there, the second one that we've seen.
I'm not sure. I didn't see where it got him. Did you see where it got him?
He was limping because what was the count? We weren't behind in the count.
1 and 2
yeah,
was
so
the count.
Definitely a hit by pitch then, right?
Shortstop,
Yep.
number 1, Jace Grady.
Oh, and there's your tying run right now at home plate, Michael.
Yep. That could be no bueno. And back to the top of the order we go with Jace Grady.
2 for 2 tonight, Jace Grady. Remember, he hit the homer to lead off.
That pitch misses low for ball 1. Dominguez needing to close the door on this one. Dominguez comes set, the 1-0. That's fouled off and out of play for strike 1.
Those runners on 1 and 2, and don't forget Grady. I know I mentioned it earlier, but he is capable of knocking them out of the park here.
Grady, a junior. I believe he is also a Texas State commit. 1-1 the count to Grady. The pitch from Dominguez. Fastball. Cut on and missed. He tried to check his swing, but went around. 1-2. The count to Grady. Lefty-righty matchup. Runners at first and second with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Dominguez closing the door. That's in the dirt. And Vanoy keeps it in front of him, and McFarland stays at second. 2-2 the count to Jace Grady.
And a balk called here now, and runners are going to go to 2 and 3. Wow. McFarland will move to third there, Michael, and Magnuson will be at second.
Wow, I never saw him actually step on the rubber and come set. So I'm just curious as to where the balk came into play. The 2-2 pitch. It's in for strike 3, and the game is over. Yes, Dominguez closes the door on Jace Grady. He gets the outside corner to end the ball game. The Rouse Raiders defeat the Elgin Wildcats by a score of 4-1. No runs, no hits, no errors. And goes our boisterous fan.
Well, we'll step aside, take a quick break. We'll break down this one and look on to the game Saturday if the weather doesn't postpone it. Rouse defeats Elgin tonight in Elgin, Texas, 4-1. We'll step away. Rouse Raider postgame continues after this. This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by the Hipp Network. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, use of sound bites and interviews, and use of any other content, including audio or video, without the direct written consent and permission by the Hipp Network is strictly prohibited and protected by federal and copyright laws. All rights are reserved by the Hipp Network and SHNSports.com. Back to Rouse Raider Baseball on the SHNSports.com broadcast network. I'm Rob Hipp, along with my good friend and broadcast partner, Mr. Michael Francis. We're Rouse tonight on the road at Elgin, Texas, just off 290 in the heart of sausage country, the sausage capital of the world. The Rouse Raiders able to take the grease away from Elgin tonight, and they defeat Elgin 4-1. They win the two-game series 2-0. Rouse improves with 11 wins now in District 19 5A. They go to 11-3, and Elgin will fall here with their loss to 9-5 in district play. So that fourth, really the third and fourth spot still up for grabs. 2 games left for both these teams. The only team with the bye is going to be Eastview, and they're already out of the playoffs. As we look at the finals tonight for the hometown Elgin Wildcats, scoring 1 run on 3 hits. They do commit 3 errors tonight. They leave 4 on base. For the Rouse Raiders, 4 runs on 5 hits, no errors, and they leave 5 on. And Michael, if I had to name an SHN Sports Rouse Raider player of the game, it would definitely be number 15, third in the order, the first baseman, Jared Southard. He was 2 for 4, 500 tonight. He had that 3-run home run, of course, 3 RBIs. What a night it was tonight for Jared Southard, Michael.
Well, I'm going to have to
and the pitcher, though.
Put a co-player in the game. I'm going to have to say Hayden Thomas.
Yep.
Who he gives up the leadoff dinger to Jace Grady to get the bottom of the first started, but then finally, has a couple of shaky little innings there. Not real shaky, but
just the first, that was it.
But comes back in, settles in, strikes out 12 for the game himself. So extending his strikeout lead in total from 80 to 92.
Yeah, unbelievable. And I'm glad you mentioned that because that would have been wrong of me. We do have co-players of the game sometimes. We do that in Georgetown, and Southard would have been a co-player of the game. Both of those young men tonight doing a fantastic job.
I mean, Southard, he's
responsible. How did I leave him out, man?
He's responsible for 4 runs on the board tonight.
Yep.
He knocked 3 in with his home run, and then gets the double, and then Dominguez comes up and knocks him in to get the 4th run. So he's responsible for a lot of those runs on the board tonight.
Well, Michael, it's been a pleasure these last couple of games. The Rouse Raiders looking good here in 19-5A as they're trying to make their case for that second position, and we do not have a Cedar Park score tonight. But we will look at this as we move on here. If everything goes well with the weather, again, that's still up in the air, but Rouse is scheduled to play at Bastrop tomorrow at 1 p.m. right back here on SHN Sports. I believe Brad Tillery will be on that call. It's either he or Travis Banks. I believe it'll be Brad Tillery. So
I believe it will be.
We'll be excited about that. And then Tuesday will be the final game of the season. Rouse will finish up at home for the regular season. It'll be Bastrop at Rouse.
That'll be senior night for the Raiders on their last home game of the season.
Well, things up here getting a little chilly, so before we sign off, as always, Michael, it's been a pleasure tonight.
Yes, sir.
Final thoughts and final breakdown of this one here tonight.
Raiders come out early. put runs on the board early, and Elgin just never could recover from it. Harkins had a good night on the hill, but that first inning closed the door on them. And Hayden Thomas had a big part of it. And John Dominguez drives the final nail.
Awesome.
In to end the game. So Raiders take it 4-1. That's awesome.
Rouse looking good here. Michael, as always, a pleasure,
yes,
a true
sir.
honor, privilege, and blessing to work alongside you for these this and the previous game. Looking forward to many more games here with the Rouse Raiders as postseason right around the corner. 2 games to go. But again, your happy final score tonight. Rouse Raiders defeat the Elgin Wildcats here in Elgin, Texas, 4-1. On behalf of Michael Francis, I'm Rob Hipp, all of our SHN Sports family throughout the network, Chuck Cracy, Rich Henley over in Leander, and our Georgetown crew who was off tonight. We'll be back on Monday. We thank everybody for joining us tonight, especially the Rouse Raider fans as well as the Elgin fans who couldn't make it out tonight. And we appreciate you joining us here on SHN Sports. Remember, friends, as I always like to say, we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. So provide a word of encouragement, lend a hand of support. Somebody out there tonight needs you. Again, your happy final score tonight, Rouse over Elgin, 4-1. We'll be back on the air tomorrow, pending weather, so make sure to follow SHN Sports and also Rouse_baseball on Twitter for the latest updates and if there are any delays. Until then, God bless and good night from Elgin, Texas. This broadcast is under the direction and is copywritten by the Hipp Network. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, use of sound bites and interviews, and use of any other content, including audio or video, without the direct written consent and permission by the Hipp Network is strictly prohibited and protected by federal and copyright laws. All rights are reserved by the Hipp Network and SHNSports.com.